Okay, so I want to show you guys how to shuck an oyster. There's something called the belly of the oyster, and they say put it down in the belly, and the belly is the rounder part. It's a sort of a flat top and a round part. And they're usually sitting on their bellies when they're on the rocks. So you want to start with them with their belly down, either in your hand when you shuck them, or in this case what we're going to do is I've picked this convenient rock right here as a bit of a workbench, and I'm just going to find a spot in the rock where I can kind of nestle the oyster in, that way to secure it. And then I'm going to use my glove hand here to kind of hold it down. I always use this isn't the best glove actually, I usually have some sturdy rubber gloves, but I hold it down with my hands. What I'm looking for is on these guys here, you can actually see their new growth here. This is their new growth every year. They grow a little bit more shell, right? And you can actually make out with a sort of a lip of new growth extending out from the belly of its shell, extending beyond that flat part of the shell which I was talking about. And you can kind of see it right there and around here. Anyways, their main muscle is attached to the shell right here and at the same spot on the belly side. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to just slide this oyster shucker in between the edge of the two pieces of shell, and I'm just going to go into about there, and I'm going to run it up on the top part of the flats of the shell here and cut the muscle there, and draw the knife back and then cut the muscle on the bottom. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. You shouldn't have to force it in. It should just sort of almost slip through if you've got the right spot. And I'll show you how. Find that gap between the two shells, run your knife around, find it, and then slide the knife between the two shells, just working it in. There it goes. And if you get it right, you'll just cut that muscle. Now I'm going to slide the knife across the top of the shell, cut the muscle, and then on the bottom of the shell, cut the muscle. And it should just pop right open like that. And you've got a beautiful oyster. Now I usually just take the knife and just kind of pull back any shell that I might have crushed on the way in. Oh, that looks really good. And if it's all freed up, oh, see, there's that muscle on the bottom. Perfect. All right, I think that one's good to eat. Okay, I'll show you that again on a bigger one. So in this one, you can really see that new growth coming out, extending from the flat part of the shell. Here's the belly of the shell coming around, and you can see that new growth sort of extending beyond. So you want to follow that line around till you get to about here, and we're targeting that muscle that's right here. So I'm going to slide the knife in right there, kind of work it back and forth. Don't work the knife this way and that way because you'll just crush more shell. So it doesn't actually help you open it up. You want to go this way, like this, and slide your way in. A secure spot. Put your hand down, keep your fingers out of the way, because if this slips out and you drive the knife up and through, you don't want to drive it up into the meat of your hand. So I always keep my hand sort of behind here. Pick that spot. Find that muscle. And you'll know when you hit the muscle because it just pops right open. Top off, whoops. Shell out, cut the bottom of the muscle, she's good to go. Now this one I would say is too big to eat in one mouthful, wouldn't you say? Anyways, this one will be a good fryer. So once in a while you'll run into an oyster that just is a bit tricky to shuck, and you'll kind of work away at it for a bit and it just won't open up for you. So the main thing is don't force it, because you're going to wind up running this thing through your hand. So what you can do is just place it back down on the beach, and it'll be fine. It'll just go back to being an oyster, and then go ahead and pick the next one up, which hopefully is a little easier to do. The other thing that's really good about shucking them here on the beach is when you're done shucking them, like when you got the shell off, these guys how they reproduce is they're actually like I believe that the baby oysters are sort of nested on the shells of the mature oysters. So the oyster shells themselves will help spawn the next sort of generation of oysters. So it's a whole lot better to shuck them here and leave their oysters on the beach as opposed to taking them home and throwing them in the trash, eh? So I'm gonna do that. So For an oyster shucker, I use, I bought a good one a couple years ago. It's actually stainless steel and pretty hard. And then I actually just sharpen the tip of it a little bit, just because I like that little bit to cut the muscle at the top. But for the most part, you don't need it sharpened down through here. It's just because you just kind of want to wedge it through the two shells. The other thing you should always remember, if you're out here doing stuff like this, you got to have your fishing license, and you got to stay within the regulations. Other than that, I hope you learned a little something on this video, and we'll see you next time.